Have you ever felt like your life is no longer under your control? That's how I felt like when I was working a job that I hated. In the middle of Tokyo, just another person wearing suit. I felt anonymous, hopeless, and I hated my life. And the worst part was, I started hating myself too. I knew that my life was in desperate need of a big change. So, I decided to quit my corporate job with no backup plan and left Tokyo. But the decision didn't happen overnight. It was after month and month of thinking, dealing with self-doubt and second-guessing. And I've never really told anyone why exactly I quit because I didn't even know myself. It's been 7 months since I left the corporate world, and I think I'm ready to share my well-kept secret. It's 2020 and I'm 24 years old. I squeeze myself into a jam-packed train for 30 minutes, work 10 to 14 hours a day, go home, sleep, and do the exact same thing the next day. Pretty much the only thing I was looking forward to was the lunchtime and the weekend where I still needed to worry about my emails. After all the sacrifice, I overachieved my financial goal, and honestly, I thought I made it. With the bonus I received, I bought myself a diamond ring and a Fendi dress because that's what you're supposed to do when you're successful, right? I thought that's gonna make me happy. And it did for a couple of days, but it faded away and I didn't feel fulfilled. And I was like, okay, maybe I need to take care of myself better. So I signed up at Go Gym and went whenever I have time between work. But I still didn't feel fulfilled. So I booked a weekend trip every month. I went to so many beautiful places and it was so much fun. Until Monday comes. I couldn't handle the gap between my dreamy weekend and the reality. One morning, I just came back from a beautiful trip in Okinawa. I was still tired from the trip, so I was gonna work from home that day, and I was getting ready to start working. When I put out my work laptop and when I saw it, something in me just broke. I started crying and I just didn't know how to stop. Having a mental breakdown started becoming a regular thing. So I decided to get some professional help and I started to see a therapist every week. Seeing a therapist to take care of your mental health is not common in Japan yet, and it can be quite expensive to go see a therapist every week. And I realized how much money I'm spending to deal with the intense level of stress so that I can kind of act like I'm okay during work. And I was not okay at all. At this point, I didn't even know who I was anymore. And this leads me to lesson number 1. Working a job you hate is extremely stressful, and being stressful is expensive. And the worst part was spending all this money didn't really fix the core of the problem. I still hated my job that didn't fulfill me, and it introduced me to this intense level of unhappiness that I didn't even know that existed. But I still kept going. For my clients, for my manager, for my teammates, and for my parents who are proud of having a successful daughter, and for me to feel like I'm still worth it. I lost who I was long time ago. Achieving high performance and earning good amount of money was the only thing that made me feel like I'm still worth it. And I thought, wait, if I'm gone, then who am I working this hard for? Who am I sacrificing my life for? And the answer is, for someone's dream. I was losing my mind, losing myself in this corporate world for someone I didn't even know. Now that I think about it, it's wild that I was dedicating so many hours, so many days, so many years for someone probably somewhere in the headquarters that I will never ever meet in my entire life. So at this point, I started realizing that maybe this path is not for me, and I really started to think about quitting. But from here to making the final decision, there were so many questions in my head that needed to be answered. If I quit, what's gonna happen to the team I supervise? Who is gonna take care of my clients? If I hear these questions from the past version of me now, I think that's crazy that you think that you're the only one in the world who could do your job because you are replaceable. In fact, everyone in the world is replaceable. I mean, think about it. even a president who runs an entire nation is replaceable. The company, the world will still keep running with you or without you. So if you're thinking of quitting, make a decision for yourself, not for someone else. After spending hours and hours to think about my future, I started to have this strong desire to do a job that matters to me and make the money that matters to me, even if it's $1. And I haven't even made the first dollar yet, but I know it will be the happiest day in my life when I do. Anyway, back to my desire. An angel in my head said, "You should go for it." But a devil in me said, "That's selfish." And let me answer this question from the perspective of a professional 9-to-5 quitter with 7 months of experience. And yes, it is selfish, but you should be selfish about your life because this is your life, it's not someone else. And it's 100% okay to want a job and make the money that matters to you. While having these thoughts, I was still working every single day for 5 days a week and sometimes on the weekends. And one day I thought, what if I spend all this energy and all this time on what I love? I mean, imagine what you can accomplish. On average, we work 260 days a year, which means we work around 2,100 hours yearly. I mean, imagine what you can achieve if you spend 2,100 hours a year on what makes you excited. I think this was one of the most convincing realizations for me. Right now, I usually start working on creating content around 9 a.m. and many days I continue until like 10 to 11 p.m. And even though I don't make any money from it right now, I still wake up so excited and energized. And sometimes I need to stop myself from working too much so that I can avoid burnout. Growing up in an Asian household in Japan, I always thought having a lot of money and being able to buy anything at any time is the highest level of luxury and power. Until I saw mothers and fathers who have kids working in the office from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. or even later in the corporate world. And I understand that some people need to do so in order to support a family. But I know for a fact that those people I saw were making more than enough money. And sure, they can use the money to hire babysitters. The kids will grow with them or without them. But the time they couldn't spend with the kids will never come back. And for me personally, I didn't want my future to look like that. Which leads me to the next lesson. The most powerful, valuable thing in our lives is time. And that's one thing you cannot buy with money. Now you might be thinking, these are good reasons. But for me, it might be just too late to start a new career. Do you think you would have the same answer if you ask yourself in 20 years? I just turned 29, so for me, that's gonna be 49 years old. You will never be at this age, this young, and this healthy ever again in your life. So I hope this answers your question of if it's too late. So, how is it like to quit 9-to-5 job? It feels like living. And honestly, I've never been this happy for as long as I remember. I wake up every day excited to make contents online, and I hope someday I will make the first dollar that matters to me. Even just imagining it makes me happy, and I'll probably frame it and put it in the wall maybe. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and let me know what you thought in the comment below. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video. Bye!